in the Heat, my friend.
You know what? I actually am one of those people that I like the Heat, but only if I got a swim-up bar somewhere near me. This lack of swim-up bar and lemon daiquiri is really upsetting me.
Get a kiddie pool. That's what I did.
I got one for my dog, and the other day I was just sitting in that, and he's just like, "Hey, man, that's mine."
Get out of there. Get out of there. We should start with McDavid. Hart, that's the MVP NHL award. It seems to be fairly unanimous from the people that voted.
Yeah, it was unanimous. There was only twice in history where it was unanimous vote the way it was. So I was actually surprised and impressed. Nobody overthought it. He was the best player in the NHL. And everybody that had a vote in the award agreed. Mm-hmm. And it was almost surprising to see everybody agree on one thing. But when you put up 105 points in 56 games, it's
hard to argue.
How can you not win it?
Was Gretzky another unanimous decision back in the day?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, there's only Gretzky and McDavid. So those are the only two players that have ever gotten a unanimous hard vote.
Let's chat about the Nuge. He lands his deal. He gets to stick with the Oilers. You know what I love about this story is, and I really didn't think about it until I read it, but Nuge, with this deal, will become the longest-serving Edmonton Oiler of all time.
Yeah, he's about, so right now he's about 400 and some odd games behind Kevin Lowe for most games ever played as an Oiler. So he'll pass that probably midway through this contract, provided that he's healthy and he's playing. So that's interesting. He'll also be the only Oiler that's gone from draft to potentially retirement as an Oiler. You could say Oscar Klefbom could be in that list too, but based on his injury, it's not really the same. So It's an interesting day for the franchise, and obviously my shtick had a very good day yesterday.
Yes,
my mentions on social media were a lot of fun, and it was a fun day. And he came in a lot cheaper on a per-year basis than I expected him to. I didn't expect an 8-year term, but I also didn't expect $5.1 million either. So in the short term, that's a good deal for
That's a good contract, yeah.
So that's a good deal for both the player and the team. Is that the way we're looking at it?
That's the way I look at
it.
Nuge wanted security. He got it with an 8-year contract. The Oilers wanted a cheaper cap hit. They got it. So I think that's good. That's good news for both sides. Now it's up to Nugent-Hopkins to live up to his contract, and it's up to the Oilers to continue building the team to make a push forward.
Was there a risk we were gonna? I like Nuge, and I think he's one of those players you kind of need. You kind of need what he brings to the table, right? So, I mean, there's a conversation to be had about whether or not we could have done better. You know, if there's a better fit for the team moving forward. I mean, I understand that conversation, but the question I have is this was this the right move for the Edmonton Oilers?
The way I look at it is based on their depth chart as it's currently constructed. Yes, it was honestly in my opinion, and all the shtick aside, it was the only answer for the Oilers, because it's not like they have a bunch of left-wing prospects coming up underneath that could have pushed him out. They don't. If they had lost Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, they would have lost one of their best forwards. And again, I know he had a bad year last year, but they would have lost one of their best forwards. He plays in all situations, and there's nobody on the roster or coming up in the system that can replace that right now. So that would have made Ken Holland's job infinitely more difficult this summer. Instead of finding one top six winger to play with either Draisaitl or McDavid, he would have had to find two, which is going to be impossible in free agency. So I think it was the only answer for the Oilers. And I'm glad it came in as a team-friendly deal and one that works out for the players too. And let's be honest, by the time this is all said and done, at the end of the 8 years, the Oilers will pay Ryan Nugent-Hopkins like $90-some million or something. So he's fine, you know?
Is it one of the first examples of a player taking less money to stay in Edmonton?
Well, and
usually they have to overpay, right?
That's another thing too, Grant, is that we're in Edmonton. This isn't exactly like guys take discounts to play here all the time. So the fact that they have a very good player, the reality is he was one of the better free agent forwards available this year. The fact that he wanted to stay here and he wanted to sign for a deal that made sense for the team that's a win.
Yeah.
And people,
you want to keep those guys around.
Yeah, plays up the middle too, right? Like he can. He's not your best option.
Yeah.
He's not like a top 6 center, but if something goes wrong, you can throw him.
Well, here's the reality: is with Connor and Leon, those are the best 1-2 centermen in the league, in my opinion. But knock on wood, injuries happen. And now you've got Nugent-Hopkins as a safety net there, and just in case you need it. And I think that's very valuable for the team.
So sorry, I was just going to say Oscar Klefbom, you mentioned him earlier. He's not going to be ready, right, for the start of the season, they're saying?
Shoulder, right?
Jason Greger reported on OilersNation.com this week that he's talking to a couple of sources, and it doesn't look like he's going to be here for the start of the season.
That's too bad.
Or maybe even play again.
All right, we're going to wrap up with this. You get to play GM now. Outside of locking up Nuge, what's the biggest off-season priority for the Oilers right now?
I mentioned a little bit earlier, they need top 6 scoring. They can't have the bulk of their offense rely on only a few players. It can't just be Connor. It can't just be Leon. As we saw in the Winnipeg Jets series, when those two guys got shut out in games 1 and 2, nobody else chipped in. And that's not how things work. If you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning right now in the finals against Montreal, they don't have that problem. They have very good players like Kucherovs and Points and Stamkos, but they've also got depth guys that can kick in some goals every now and then, and that's what the Oilers desperately need. So if you're going to ask me what's on my wish list, it's depth scoring.
I thought you'd say
the money
grit.
to do it.
I think because there's guys out there now, like that Point on the Lightning. That guy's gritty, but he pops. He hits the back of the net every once in a while too, right?
Yeah, you need feisty guys for sure. You need guys that are going to get in the mix. You need guys that are skilled. You need all of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you need guys that can put the puck in the net.
There he is, our friend Baggedmilk from Oilers Nation. Enjoy the weather, my friend.
Stay cool, boys.